Doesn't do covers. No, that's right. I think I swore it in then. I mentioned covers. We have a good fest. That's good. Who's not been to the Village Pump Festival before? Come on, show of hands. Oh, talking of show of hands. That's brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? We've been coming here for about 40 years. I know. I'm that young. Are you alright? I'm ready. He's ready. So I'm sure they are. So please, a big Village Pump Folk Festival welcome for Greg Hancock.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here. I have been to Trowbridge before, but I don't really want to say how many years ago that was. Guitars, you had to put microphones in front of guitars in those days. Okay, I'm going to start with a song called The Only Reason, and the only reason for doing that is because I always start with it. Usually I can get through without making any mistakes, so we'll see. That I have for standing here today is my complete inability to stay away. I came without a plan, oh, but I came anyway. Now that I'm here, I don't know what to say. I can explain from where I get the nerve is that I've learned to complain until I get what I deserve. There's nothing in my hands, I've got nothing up my sleeve. Now that I'm here, my feet won't turn to between an early night and staying out late. Always hungry though there's so much on my plate. I was born between the bad old days and the days of the all-night raves, and I'll be taking my bad habits with me to my grave. Oh. Between an early night, staying out late, always hungry though there's so much on my plate. Oh, I was born between the bad old days and the days of the all-night raves, and I'm taking my bad habits with me to my grave. Oh. Okay, this song is one that started out as a way to sort of get back and make fun of some very annoying friends, but it turned into a much nicer song in the end, which is about just being a bit kinder to yourself, really. Well, he been round the block a few times, and still he was never put off at the height of the hill. He'd set off at full tilt with his eyes on the mark, enjoying the thrill, the buzz and the spark. He said, "You'd think I'd see it coming, and I'd count 1 to 10 before telling all my friends I'm the happiest of men. I put all my eggs in one basket, and then pretty soon I find I'm licking my wounds again. Pretty soon I find I'm licking my wounds again." Well, she'd learned not to clutter or fill up her space with the kind of stuff that others leave all over the place. She had no time for boxes full of papers or rags. Her entire life fitted into 2 Samsonite bags. She said, "Whenever I find that I've come to depend on anybody else, then I just count 1 to 10 before I break something I could never mend. Pretty soon I find packing up again. Pretty soon I find I've packed my bags up again." So when life gets you down and drives you right round the bend, and you're fighting a corner that you just can't defend, but before you do or don't do what all your friends recommend, just sit yourself down, count 1 to 10, and just accept you'll probably make all the same mistakes again. To you, bro. That's what passes for a happy song. And the next song came from a weird combination of lack of inspiration and suddenly a brilliant phone call that told me what I should write about. This was inspired by what happened to a friend of mine, Syrian friend who lives in Abu Dhabi, and his family was stuck in Syria. He hadn't seen them for 2 years, couldn't get them out. Finally he managed to get them out by smuggling money into them, and they were able to use that to bribe their way out of the country, and they're safe now. So it's got a weird title, this one. It's called The Baby's Head. I made the arrangement through a government agent. We told the kids that they could only take one of their toys. We left after midnight, leaving the whole light on, and we covered the baby's head so it wouldn't make too much noise. We rolled through the town, pushing the children's heads down, flinching at every sound of gunshot and grenade. Somehow we got to the border. Sure enough, the guard winked and said, "It's all in order here," and my wife covered the baby's head with her hand as they lifted the barricade. But you try explaining to a 7-year-old girl that she's just witnessed the end of her world, or convince a 5-year-old boy that his mother's tears are not his fault. Drove through the mountains, the forests surrounding the old family farm, where they waited with their lips caught in their teeth. And at the sound of our engine, the old women came running out, and they covered the baby's head with kisses and tears of relief. You try explaining to a 7-year-old girl that she's just witnessed the end of her world, or convince a 5-year-old boy that his mother's tears are not his fault. I've changed my mind what I'm going to do. Sometimes when people hear this song they think it's an anti-religion song, but it's really not. It's an anti-bigotry song. But it does address that sort of knowing look you get sometimes when people are disapproving of you. fight for some world ahead, and saved your smiles for someone there instead. Well, I wish I could be there to repeat what you said. When it all comes crashing down around your head, and you find yourself just as dead as me. I'd like to meet you outside Heaven's Gate, and be the one to tell you when it's all too late, that eternity will carry on fine without you and me, and it really wasn't worth the wait. It must be a supreme irony, although the chance may be remote. If you turn out to be right, you can look down and pity me, but when do I get my chance to gloat? So keep living your life, staring straight ahead. I'm really glad that you sleep well in your bed, with words of comfort in your head. You think the Almighty said, well, it'll all make no difference when we're dead. Good. Okay, I've got a couple more. The first one is a little song I wrote about one of my biggest heroines, which is Joni Mitchell. Fans? Fantastic. There's a wonderful interview with her on YouTube, recorded just a couple of years ago. One of the longest interviews she's ever done in 50 years in the business. It's in equal measure infuriating, brilliant, wise, stupid. She's a difficult, tricky woman. Sometimes talks a lot of sense, sometimes talks absolute rubbish. It's a great interview. So this was written after that interview, called The Old Lady. Her hair piled high, breathing in the smoke she's surrounded by, fixing her questioner with her eye, still too alive to just lie down and die. For what's the point in having views without an audience? I'm gonna hang on every word, both the wise and absurd. The old lady doesn't listen to her songs, will Except sometimes when the neighbors put her CDs on, and she'll give credit where credit's due, but she racks her brains for names to give it to. Well, Bob and Leonard, they wrote a bit, but for 40 years now they've just turned out the same old. She pauses while another cigarette is lit. Debussy, Duke, that's it. The old lady still has that toothy grin, and it still depends on the mood she's in. No way now she's ever gonna sing or run her fingers up and down the strings. So in LA she sits, surrounded by self-portraits, looking for a shoe that fits before the world forgets. Old lady with her head held high, fading into the smoke that she was surrounded by. Thanks very much. I've got one more to finish. And again, this is one I often finish with. This was my attempt to write a 3-chord song. Kind of went a bit wrong as well. It's got a nice philosophical message. Whatever happens, just don't expect it to make sense. Blood on my hands and my heart on my sleeve. I never made plans to get up and leave. Just a moment of madness, no attempt to deceive, but mixed in with the sadness, there's a sense of relief. I never made plans to get up and leave. Just a moment of madness, no attempt to deceive, but mixed in with the sadness, there's a sense of relief. The smile on my face is hanging by a thread. I hate the empty space next to me in my bed. I shot myself in the foot, got a spring in my step. When I knew you'd gone for good, the better I slept. So don't expect it all to make sense. Don't build up your defense when you're not in control. Just go with the road and put it down to experience. But don't expect it all to make sense. Don't sit on the fence when you're washed by the tide. Go along for the ride, or don't hide. Don't fall, don't expect it all to make sense. expect it all to make sense. Don't depend on your defense when you're not in control. Just go with the road, oh, and put it down to experience. But don't expect it all to make sense. Don't sit on the fence when you're washed by the tide. Go along for the ride, or don't hide. Don't fall and don't expect it all. And don't hide. Don't fall and don't expect it all to make sense. Blood on my hand and my heart on my sleeve.
Thank you very much, everybody. Greg Hancock, that was lovely, lovely. What a lovely voice and guitar style. Another round of applause. I think that was smashing. Thank you, Greg. Now, this is I don't know what sort of this public service announcement. Just